last July when I started, I wanted actually to use my expertise in two main committees, and I actually got three, but now recently even the fourth one. But I started with the idea of using my experience as a former Minister of Labour in the Ample Committee, in the Employment and Social Affairs, and my background as an economist in the Econ Committee, Economic and Monetary Affairs. Basically, in the Ample team, I was elected coordinator, and I think I've done quite some things there, including a resolution from the initial hearings until the end coordination on the protection of cross-border workers. On the Econ team was a little bit different. The stakes were really high from the beginning of the mandate. There were a lot of very important files that needed to be assigned and assessed. And one of them indeed was the BICC file as part of the reform support program. I remember that I wanted to play a particular role in the RSP because I was working as a consultant previously on what is called the SRSS, the technical assistance that the Commission has developed to support member states. So I was actually on the other end of the spectrum doing consultancy work and technical assistance in some very, very nice areas, for instance, in the field of social auditing. And I really enjoyed that experience as part of a Big Four team that I was involved in. So I actually knew the context. I was actually working on structural reforms, and when I was working on the Romania's accession to the EU as part of the advisory team funded by the European Commission, I was very much into this area of structural reforms. Then, obviously, because we are talking here about influence, I had a very good relationship from the outstart with Luis Garicano, the coordinator of Renew Europe. He's a renowned professor from Chicago University and an amazing economist. And as you know, in between fellow economists sharing the same vision, that was quite important. He understood and always understood and supported my initiatives. So when I actually said that I'm interested in that particular file, it was just a matter of discussion in the Renew Econ team, and I got the file. The file at that time had only 25 billion euro, which is not something small, but if you compare to what we have it right now, the monster that is right now, and being 90% of the recovery package, then yes, the size has actually multiplied 20 times. What is actually important is that I was actively contributing to this change from the 25 billion to what we have it today. I worked very well with Eider Gardiazabal, the Budge coordinator from S&D. And it was very nice because I was trying to get the balance in between the EPP view and the S&D view, and this transformed me somehow into a kingmaker because I was basically trying to negotiate and having a neutral view on the sensitive issues, for instance, the European semester, the country-specific recommendation, and so on and so forth. And we developed with Eider a trust relationship. And then, along with her, we came up to Commissioner Ferreira, and we had a rendezvous with her, explaining Commissioner Ferreira that this actually can be one of the most important instruments of the reform package. And then I had an op-ed in Euractiv trying to put forward this particular perspective. And then it happened. I mean, so this is how it starts, with some ideas, with a lot of work during the pandemic. And that's actually quite important, that basically we neglected completely the COVID-19 period. Everyone was actually struggling a little bit of how to do and what to do. And we were actually very keen in tabling and being sure that we launch the RSP and the BICC. And because we've launched it and because we promoted that vision and people have actually started to look at it, including Valdis Dombrovskis, he was another person in the commission that we've been working with. And then, on May 26th, we've seen as part of the recovery plan that was presented that our advice was followed. And that was outstanding, honestly. I mean, it was really amazing. And of course, I need to say that from the outstart, that without the amazing team that I have. I have, three amazing advisors that have been working a lot with a lot of energy, ambition, and vision. And I was so proud, and I'm still very proud of working with them. We started this journey together, and I mean, look what we've come to. So that's it for the first question. This is a mix between instinct, experience, and assessment of situation, good expertise in assessing the situation. So it is very important, nowadays, because we are talking a lot about the future of work and about the skills that are required for that. I think that more and more the IQ is becoming less relevant than the EQ, the emotional intelligence. So to have empathy with the colleagues. And I always have been there for all the colleagues that wanted to promote ideas and to promote their visions. And it was a process in which I've learned from them. And because I was very open from the outstart, they have actually trusted me, and they had fun working with me. So for me, I would say that interaction is the first step. You can't develop things by your own. If you are putting yourself in a bubble, in an ivory tower, with the thinking that you are actually the best of the best, this is not going to help. You need to talk to people. You need to express what you feel and to create synergies, both within your group, and that's very important. It's not only about the discussion with the other political groups. You need to actually have a strong base in your group and also in your committee. And as you probably are very well aware, these relationships are built over, obviously the formal meetings that we have, but even more important, over coffees, over, private discussion about children, about personal life, and so on and so forth. So when you have this bond that is developing, and people see that you make sense in what you're saying, and you are actually contributing to improve their ideas as well, a feeling of reciprocity and of becoming a team works. And also, I think that there's another thing that's going on. We in the European Union, we've been in a period of a relative malaise, inertia, where more or less we were stuck on a path dependency on the old politics, and we were not able, I would say, until recently with the Green Deal, even before the pandemics, to show that we reignite the spirit of the founding fathers. And another thing that I believe that it's important to gain the respect of the college and the appreciation of the colleagues is to be bold. You need to be bold. You need to have a strong vision, and also need to explain how this is becoming suitable to be put into practice. So I was always prepared with solid and research arguments for my ideas, and involving experts, and seeing the multiple facets of an issue. And these are all part of the, if you want, the tactics that I'm using. It's not something rocket science. I'm sure that we all use a mix of these things in what we do. But for the European Parliament, it's even more important. All these kind of things, interacting, being there, being proactive, being bold, and fighting for your ideas in a good sense. To believe that, again, to believe that you can work alone, and because you are so good and bright, everyone will follow and will say, yes, teach us, master. This is not going to happen. So what you need to do is to understand that influence cannot be reality without a proper network. The key in promoting an idea, a principle, a policy, a priority, is to promote it with different voices. And that's actually the nice part of it. So if I say something, people will know that I said that thing. If I say one thing and I'm convincing other people to say the same thing in different contexts, in my group, in the other political groups, then it starts to be like an echo. And with this echoing facility, it seems not that I'm actually supporting something, but that people support something, and that's actually the idea of the moment. So that's actually quite important. One piece of advice that I can actually put forward is that if you convince people that they had that idea as well, and you are not insisting that much on the parenting of that idea, you may actually push your ideas easier. So this is a little bit of, you can say a slight manipulation, but if it's for a good cause, I mean, then it's just what we are saying, influence or pushing the agenda forward and so on. So I would say that it's actually crucial to diminish your own ego and the paternity of ideas and push forward things. I can give you an example from the Ample Committee on that resolution. So the resolution on the protection of cross-border workers, more or less I've initiated it, I've coordinated it, but I've never been interested in having my name on it or to be considered my baby and so on. It is actually more or less my work, but I'm actually glad that it passed. And I don't care that much that I'm not associated directly by having my name on it, as long as it's making a good thing for the European citizens and for mobile workers across Europe. And for instance, for the Econ Committee, I have an example as well. I was fighting a lot for the capital requirements regulation, the quick fix that was required for allowing that in the pandemics, the member states can issue Euro bonds and so on. And that was a big fight, because I was actually insisting on the fact that non-Euro countries would actually have more or less same facilities than Euro countries on markets. And this was a minor thing, but I was actually fighting for about 1.5 months to convince everyone to get it done. And in the end, we got it, but it was really, really difficult. I was trying to convince the Commission, because initially I was not able to convince them. I was writing a long letter with a lot of signatures, and nothing happened. And then the fight that happened in the Parliament, in the committee, and in the plenary, in the end, was of an epic proportion. I mean, no one knows about it, honestly. I mean, who knows that, there was this guy trying to come up with amendments, and talking to all the Polish deputies and Hungarian deputies and, trying to get some sort of a stronger position in the parliament. And I would say that that's actually the point. The point is that once you have a good idea and you put it forward and you bring the arguments forward, you should actually be generous enough to leave that idea to be embraced by everyone else. And that's how you're actually building an influence to make things done, not necessarily with your label on it. And that's I think it's quite crucial.